Classified as one of the top 100 most invasive species in the world, Japanese knotweed has made its way into Sackville, New Brunswick. Japanese knotweed plays an important role in its native habitat, helping to create nutritious soil after volcanic eruptions, but can cause unprecedented effects on the ecosystems it is invading. This plant is equipped with many characteristics that make it effective at invading and colonizing land, despite the presence of native plants. The introduction of Japanese knotweed is usually followed by the loss of native biodiversity in the area, due to the competitive nature of the plant. Japanese knotweed are often found in wet, damp environments and grow close to water in riparian zones. The Japanese knotweed's defining feature is their stem, with obvious intervals of growth that make it look like bamboo, along with heart-shaped leaves with a point at the end and white flowers in clusters. One reason that Japanese knotweed is such a successful invader is due to its rapid growth. Japanese knotweed can grow up to 15 centimeters a day, creating tall, dense thickets up to 4 meters tall, which blocks out light to smaller species in the undergrowth. Japanese knotweed need good stability in order to support their tall growth, and is accomplished through their use of rhizomes. Rhizomes are horizontally growing plant stems that create more roots and shoots as they grow. The rhizomes of Japanese knotweed can grow up to 18 meters long and 2 meters deep, making them very difficult to remove. Along with quick growth, Japanese knotweed also excels at rapid reproduction. Japanese knotweed uses vegetative reproduction, which creates new plants from their rhizomes. Either the rhizome can create a shoot which grows into a new plant close to the original, or if a rhizome is separated from the original root system, it will generate a new plant wherever it ends up. This makes the plant very difficult to remove permanently because if you miss even 1 centimeter of rhizome, more Japanese knotweed will generate. All of these characteristics are what make Japanese knotweed such an efficient and successful invader, and adds to the difficulty of managing it. The rapid spread and dominance of this plant in many countries across the world brings with it many ecological and economic implications. Thickets of Japanese knotweed reduce sun penetration and deposit dense layers of decaying organic matter, which inhibits native plant species from growing as they normally would with access to direct sunlight. Not only do they affect other plants, but can affect populations of local animals as well. Predators like the green frog are negatively affected, and their populations decrease as Japanese knotweed reduces their foraging success and affects the overall quality of their habitat. These plants also have a significant effect on the erosion of riverbanks. Increasing erosion of banks with Japanese knotweed was suggested to be due to reduced protection of vegetation during winter and spring flooding, when knotweed stems have died back for the winter. The decreased vegetation during this time also increases the effect of runoff, increasing soil erosion and can increase the likelihood of flooding. Due to their extensive root systems, it can grow through concrete, asphalt, and even structural foundations, which results in damaged roads, sidewalks, and even buildings where it is present. Issues arise when Japanese knotweed is found in and around the foundation of buildings, as it can result in leaks or structural damage to a property, resulting in large repair and removal fees. Surveyors are often tasked to be on the lookout for Japanese knotweed when evaluating new property, as it can cause problems in the future, and mortgage companies will view the presence of the plant as a long-term risk. When trying to eradicate a colony of Japanese knotweed, removal methods must be implemented for at least 5 years in order to ensure that the long rhizomes underground are removed completely. Failure to ensure the complete removal of the rhizomes can result in the Japanese knotweed returning to the area in greater densities due to the disturbances. Removal methods include mechanical, chemical, and biological means. Mechanical methods often involve removal of the entire plant and potential excavation of the rhizomes. Excavation has the downside of being dependent on removing large volumes of soil and potentially missing portions of the root system that could regrow. Other methods include mowing, cutting, tarping, uprooting, and usage as a grazing option for sheep, goats, cattle, and horses. The most common form of chemical removal methods is the use of herbicides. Spraying the plant with herbicides is an effective removal method, but you must be careful as the herbicides may have other health and environmental implications to the surrounding area. Biological removal is not very common, as it needs more research before it is approved and used against Japanese knotweed, though some examples include introducing non-native predators like bugs or pathogens specialized in eliminating the plant. The invasive species Japanese knotweed has many negative impacts on the environments and communities it has been introduced to. Along with its affinity for colonization, it should come into question whether it is a serious threat to Sackville. Japanese knotweed has already integrated itself into many provinces across Canada and will become more difficult to manage as time progresses. If actions are to be taken against the invasive species, they must be done soon while management of the plant is still possible.